He falls asleep around you? That's not boredom or disinterest. It's his nervous system finally feeling safe enough to let go of hypervigilance. When a man's body relaxes to the point of sleep in your presence, it's one of the most profound signs of trust his biology can give you. Most people completely miss what's actually happening here. Before we break down the neuroscience of why this matters so much, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love seeing our global community connect over psychology and relationships. And if you want to understand the deeper patterns in your relationship, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I'm about to explain will completely change how you interpret his behavior. From a neurological standpoint, sleep requires the deactivation of the sympathetic nervous system. This is the system responsible for fight or flight, threat detection, and survival vigilance. For your boyfriend to fall asleep near you, his amygdala has to stop scanning for danger. His body has to trust that you're not a threat and that the environment is secure enough to enter a vulnerable state. Psychologically, men are conditioned to maintain composure and control in most social contexts. Letting their guard down completely is rare. Sleep is the ultimate surrender of control. It's involuntary vulnerability. So when he falls asleep with you, he's not choosing to relax. His nervous system is making that choice for him because it has determined you're safe. Evolutionarily, sleep in the presence of others was incredibly risky for most of human history. Predators, enemies, and threats were real concerns. The brain evolved to stay alert unless the environment and the people in it were trustworthy. When he falls asleep around you, his primitive brain is communicating that you pass every safety check it runs continuously. Here's the part most people don't understand. Men often carry baseline stress and hypervigilance they're not even aware of. Social expectations, performance pressure, provider anxiety, and the constant need to appear competent keep their nervous systems in a perpetual state of mild activation. Your presence quiets that noise. His cortisol drops, his heart rate decreases, and his body finally gets permission to rest. Behaviorally, you'll notice he might fight the sleepiness at first. He wants to stay present with you, engage in conversation, or continue the activity you're doing together. But his body overrides his intention. The parasympathetic nervous system takes over, despite his conscious resistance. This involuntary response is more honest than any words he could say about how he feels around you. From a biochemical perspective, being near you likely triggers oxytocin release in his system. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone that creates feelings of safety, trust, and connection. When oxytocin levels are high, cortisol levels drop. Cortisol is the stress hormone that keeps you alert and vigilant. The biochemical shift from cortisol to oxytocin is what allows his body to transition into sleep mode. Psychologically, this also indicates secure attachment. People with anxious attachment struggle to sleep around partners because their nervous system stays activated, constantly monitoring for signs of rejection or abandonment. People with avoidant attachment often sleep better alone because intimacy itself feels activating. If he falls asleep easily with you, it suggests his attachment system feels regulated in your presence. According to neuroscience, the brain processes safety through multiple channels simultaneously. It's not just about conscious trust. His brainstem and limbic system are constantly evaluating micro-cues: your tone of voice, your breathing pattern, your body language, the predictability of your behavior. All of this data gets processed below conscious awareness to determine if it's safe to lower defenses. Here's what's actually happening in his nervous system. When you're together, his ventral vagal complex activates. This is the newest part of the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for social engagement and feelings of safety. When this system is active, his body can rest, digest, and repair. It's the opposite of survival mode. It's thriving mode. From a relationship standpoint, many women misinterpret this sleepiness as lack of interest or effort. They think he's bored or doesn't value the time together. But the biological reality is the opposite. He's so comfortable and secure with you that his body no longer needs to maintain defensive alertness. That's intimacy at a nervous system level. Behaviorally, men who have experienced trauma, high stress, or unstable relationships often struggle with sleep in general. Their nervous systems are chronically dysregulated. If a man like this falls asleep around you, it's even more significant. You're providing something his system has been desperately seeking, a safe haven where hypervigilance can finally pause. Neurologically, sleep near a partner also involves synchronized nervous systems. Studies show that couples who sleep together often develop matched heart rate patterns and breathing rhythms. When he falls asleep near you, his body is literally syncing with yours. This physiological attunement deepens bonding and creates nervous system regulation that he might not achieve alone. Psychologically, the ability to fall asleep in someone's presence also reflects emotional safety, not just physical safety. He trusts that you won't judge him when he's unconscious and unguarded. He trusts you won't violate his vulnerability or use his defenseless state against him. This emotional safety is foundational to deep intimacy. Here's the truth that shifts perspective completely. In many relationships, especially early on, both people maintain some level of performance and image management. You're trying to be attractive, interesting, impressive. Falling asleep breaks all of that.
It's raw, unfiltered humanity. Drool, snoring, complete lack of control. If he allows that around you, he's stopped performing. From a biochemical standpoint, physical touch amplifies this effect dramatically. If he falls asleep while you're physically close, cuddling or touching, the oxytocin release intensifies. His body is getting flooded with bonding hormones while simultaneously releasing stress hormones. This combination creates one of the most powerful relaxation states possible. Behaviorally, pay attention to how quickly he falls asleep. If it happens within minutes of settling in with you, his nervous system is highly regulated in your presence. If it takes longer but still happens, he's learning to feel safe with you progressively. Both are positive signs, just at different stages of nervous system adaptation. According to attachment research, the quality of sleep also matters. If he sleeps deeply and peacefully around you, it indicates genuine nervous system downregulation. If his sleep is restless or easily disrupted, there might still be underlying activation or unresolved stress that hasn't fully released yet. From a neurological perspective, men often have higher baseline cortisol than women due to testosterone interactions and social role stress. This means their systems are primed for alertness and action. Creating an environment where his cortisol can drop significantly is actually rare. If your presence consistently achieves this, you're offering something his biology craves. Psychologically, this sleepiness around you can also indicate that you're not demanding or depleting. Some relationships are energetically expensive: constant conflict, emotional volatility, unpredictability. These keep the nervous system activated. If he relaxes into sleep mode with you, it means being with you restores rather than drains him. Here's what makes this especially meaningful. Men often struggle to verbalize emotional connection or feelings of safety. They might not have the language or self-awareness to articulate what they're experiencing. But the body doesn't lie. Falling asleep is a non-verbal communication that says everything words might fail to express. From a practical standpoint, this also explains why some men fall asleep after sex. It's not disrespect or lack of interest in connection. Orgasm triggers a massive release of prolactin and oxytocin while simultaneously dropping adrenaline and cortisol. His nervous system is flooded with relaxation signals. Combine that with the existing safety he feels with you, and sleep becomes almost inevitable. Behaviorally, if he specifically seeks you out when he's exhausted, that's another layer of meaning. He could sleep anywhere, but he chooses to be near you. His system has learned that rest is deeper, more restorative, and more complete in your presence. You've become his safe base for nervous system recovery.
Neurologically, chronic stress and sleep deprivation are epidemic among men, especially high performers. They're running on sympathetic nervous system dominance most of the time. When they finally encounter an environment where the parasympathetic system can activate, the backlog of rest needed is enormous. He might be catching up on years of incomplete rest when he's with you. Psychologically, falling asleep together also builds relationship resilience. Shared vulnerability creates deeper bonding than shared activities or conversations. When you've seen each other completely unguarded and defenseless, and that vulnerability was met with care rather than exploitation, trust deepens to foundational levels. Here's the part about evolutionary psychology that matters. For men throughout history, falling asleep in the wrong place or with the wrong people could be fatal. The survival cost of misplaced trust was death. The fact that his ancient brain allows sleep in your presence means you've passed the most rigorous safety evaluation biology can conduct. From a nervous system perspective, women often underestimate how much mental load and stress men carry silently. Societal pressure to provide, protect, succeed, and appear strong creates constant activation. Many men don't have safe spaces to fully release this tension. If you're providing that space, you're meeting a need that's desperately unmet in most of his life. Behaviorally, watch what happens if you try to wake him when he's fallen asleep near you. If he resists waking or pulls you closer before fully regaining consciousness, that's his system trying to maintain the safety state. If he wakes easily and seems disoriented, it indicates how deeply he'd relaxed. Both responses reveal how far his defenses had lowered. According to sleep research, Quality of sleep dramatically impacts physical health, cognitive function, emotional regulation, and relationship quality. If he's getting better sleep with you than without you, you're literally improving his health outcomes. This isn't romantic exaggeration, it's measurable biological impact. From a relational standpoint, this also creates interdependence in healthy ways. His nervous system starts to associate you with regulation, safety, and restoration. This builds attachment that's not just emotional or intellectual, but physiological. His body needs you in ways his mind might not fully recognize yet. Psychologically, men who grew up in chaotic, unpredictable, or unsafe environments often develop chronic hypervigilance that persists into adulthood. Their systems never learned that it's safe to fully rest. If a man with this background falls asleep around you, you're helping his nervous system rewrite decades-old programming about safety and trust. Here's what differentiates this from other relationship behaviors. Many signs of affection or interest can be performed or faked.
Compliments, gifts, even verbal expressions of love can be strategic or manipulative. Falling asleep cannot be performed convincingly. It's an involuntary physiological response that reveals true nervous system state. From a biochemical perspective, the hormone vasopressin also plays a role. In men, vasopressin is linked to pair bonding and attachment behaviors. When he's relaxed and safe with you, vasopressin levels optimize, reinforcing the bond. This creates a positive feedback loop. Safety increases bonding hormones, which increases the feeling of safety, which deepens the bond further. Behaviorally, if he's comfortable enough to sleep around you, but remains hypervigilant in other contexts, it demonstrates that the safety he feels is specific to you, not generalized. You're the variable that changes his nervous system state. That specificity makes the trust even more meaningful. According to neuroscience, the glymphatic system clears toxins from the brain during sleep. This system is dramatically more active during deep sleep stages. If he achieves deep sleep with you, you're facilitating critical brain maintenance that impacts everything from memory to mood to immune function. You're contributing to his cognitive health just by being a safe presence. Psychologically, this also explains why breakups or relationship conflict can devastate sleep quality. Once someone has experienced the nervous system regulation that comes from a safe partnership, losing that creates significant dysregulation. Sleep becomes difficult again because the safety signal is gone. The body has to relearn how to rest without that external regulation. From a practical communication standpoint, if he falls asleep while you're talking, it's not necessarily disrespect. His body might be so relaxed by your presence and voice that it overrides his intention to stay engaged. The content of the conversation becomes less relevant than the regulatory effect of your proximity and tone. Here's the cultural piece that gets overlooked. Men are socialized to be self-sufficient, independent, and not need anyone. Admitting that your presence regulates his nervous system challenges that narrative. He might not even recognize the pattern consciously, but his body knows, and the body's wisdom often exceeds conscious awareness. From a nervous system perspective, this sleepiness can also indicate nervous system exhaustion that he's been masking. When he finally feels safe enough, the exhaustion he's been pushing through surfaces. Your presence doesn't create the tiredness, it creates the safety to finally acknowledge and address it. Behaviorally, if he actively tries to stay awake because he wants to maximize time with you but keeps failing, watch how he responds. Does he apologize? Feel guilty? That reveals he values connection with you, but his biology is overpowering his intention. Reassuring him that his sleep is a compliment, not an insult, deepens his comfort.
According to psychology, the people we feel safest with are often those who don't require constant performance or entertainment from us. If he can simply exist near you without needing to be on, funny, interesting, or productive, that's acceptance at a core level. Sleep is the ultimate form of just existing without agenda. From a neurological standpoint, proximity to a trusted person also activates the social engagement system in ways that promote rest. Your presence signals to his nervous system that he's not alone and doesn't need to maintain solitary vigilance. The shared space becomes safer than any space he occupies alone. Psychologically, this pattern also predicts relationship longevity better than many obvious markers. Emotional safety and nervous system regulation are foundational. Romance, attraction, and shared interests matter, but if his biology trusts you enough to completely let go, you've achieved something that transcends surface compatibility. Here's what changes when you understand this. Instead of feeling hurt or neglected when he falls asleep, you can recognize it as one of the highest compliments his nervous system can give. He's not checking out of connection, he's surrendering into the deepest form of trust his body knows how to express. From a final biological perspective, humans are social creatures who regulate each other's nervous systems. This is called co-regulation. When he falls asleep near you, he's allowing you to co-regulate his system in the most vulnerable way possible. He's trusting you with his survival at an unconscious level. The men who never fall asleep around their partners, who always maintain alertness and control, are often operating from fear-based attachment or unresolved trauma. They can't surrender because surrender feels dangerous. If your boyfriend can sleep deeply in your arms, he's not just comfortable, he's healed enough to be vulnerable. If this completely shifted how you see your boyfriend falling asleep around you, share this video with someone who needs this perspective. And make sure you check out the video on your screen right now where we break down other subtle signs that his nervous system feels safe with you and what that means for relationship depth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.